Well, good evening, Prattville Lions Nation. Welcome into the Coach J.B. Wallace Show. Thanks so much for tuning in tonight. Joined here, I'm your host, Chris Britton, joined here by the man the show's named after, Coach J.B. Wallace. Coach, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. How are you doing today?
Good. Coach, let's just jump straight to it. Let's talk about last week. Arguably, probably the biggest rivalry game of the year, just because of geography. Stanhope Elmore made the drive across the interstate, came over to Stanley Jensen Stadium, Kevin Turner Field, and the Lions, they were ready for them.
Yes,
Let's
sir.
talk about last week's game.
Yeah, and you're right. It's definitely one of the biggest rivalries.
Yeah.
Probably one of the biggest around. I know it's our bigger rival, but then I feel like whoever we play on Friday is a rival for us because we're probably not one of the favorite teams for people. But but it definitely is a big game. It's been a big game for years. Even when I played, even when my big brother played, even before that, in 1984 we won the first championship. It's just been a big game for a long time.
A lot of big players that have had big games in that game.
Yeah, oh yeah, and it's definitely going to be a tough game every year. It always is, and it started out that way early in the game. I think if I'm not mistaken, I think they may have gotten on the board first.
I believe so.
And then we answered back. Yeah, we did. We answered back with a touchdown ball to KJ Blue here in the first drive, the first play of the game. And so we did get off to a fast start offensively. Once we settled down defensively and got some things figured out and changed some things up, we were able to play some solid defense. We got 3 takeaways that game.
That's big.
But now we got it out 3 times. I think we only got one of them, but we got it out 3 times, and they were forced. So that was huge for the defense to be able to start getting that ball out. And we've been doing that, every week, been getting the ball out. And that's something that we harp on and the coaches talk about. And offensively, just testing the waters with them. I think they had an idea that they were going to load the box and dare us to throw the ball. And that's exactly what we did. They dared us to do it, and we did it. And it worked out. Yes, sir, it worked out. And, so I think now, teams playing those week in and week out, they're going to have to reevaluate how they're going to approach it.
Yeah, that tape is very valuable from last week.
Yes, sir. So, we had some guys step up, have a huge night for us. Quarterback Gavin Rigdon, 313 yards passing at 4 touchdowns. KJ Blue, he had he received 3 touchdown passes or whatever, and had 173 yards. And
the newspaper gave him 210 or something.
All right,
and maybe did he return some kicks too or something?
I'm not sure if he returned any kicks.
We'll go with 170.
Hey,
Your numbers are better.
Well, that's what I have on paper.
That's the real thing.
Yes, sir. I think Donovan might have recorded 65 or 70 yards on the ground, which is a stellar night.
He just keeps showing up.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's some offensive highlights. What about some defensive guys that really, you said the ball came loose 3 times, maybe recovered or got 1 takeaway. Who really shined on the defensive side of the ball?
Well, Sam Cook was all over the field Friday night. I think he led us defensively with 11 tackles. Luke Gordon was right there with him with 10 tackles. I was real proud of how our defensive line started gelling and started playing together, man. We're rolling about 9 to 11 guys up front on Friday night. So there's 9 to 11 different guys that we're getting an opportunity to play. And they're stepping in and they're getting it done. So
that's fantastic.
We were able to reestablish the line of scrimmage for most of the night and get things handled.
Keeps guys fresh, but it's important for the future too. It's getting guys reps.
Exactly. And we are playing some youth up front. Tim Rawlinson has been a guy that's really stepped up and played well for us. Outside backer, him and Eric Miner, both of those guys are playing well. And we had a very stellar night in the secondary. Our secondary, seemed to be playing well. We gave up 1 deep ball to them for a touchdown, but when you look at us for the season, I don't think we've given up more than 2 in the air. I don't think so. So those guys have really played well this year. So we just got to make sure we fit the pieces of the puzzle and continue to improve.
Yeah, man. And special teams, we keep talking about the one guy, the Montgomery kid that he hadn't allowed your special teams kickoff to coverage to really do much work.
Right. And our kickoff coach, which is Coach Brown, that's little Coach Brown.
Yeah.
He's in charge of the kickoff team, and he's got these great schemes that he draw up every week. Hey, this is how we're going to approach it. And so far, we hadn't been able to use it, because he's kicking it in the end zone. So, so we've kind of been just rolling with him however we go. So, but yeah, man, Reed has done a great job for us. Had touchbacks last week. He put points on the board. He actually sealed the game for us with a field goal. I think it was a 31-yarder, if I'm not mistaken. to seal the ball game for us.
Now, last week you had mentioned, by the way, and we'll come back to the chili cook-off in a minute too, because that was a great event last week. But you were talking at the show last week when we were at the chili cook-off that he comes up to you before the game and tells you what distance he feels good from. What distance did he give you? 60?
Well, he didn't give me. We had a brief conversation Friday because the wind was slightly blowing a certain way. So he let me know, hey, if we're going that way, I'm good for this. If we're going that way, it don't matter. And that's exactly what he told me.
He said, kick it from the 50.
Yeah, he said, we're going that way, it doesn't matter. So I felt real good going into that. We attempted a 52-yarder, slightly, just a little short, on the 52-yarder. And I think we might have been against the wind a little bit, if I'm not mistaken, if I think back correctly. But I told him, I said, you'll get another shot at it. Because I've seen him make that kick before, so I know he can do it.
Right. You mentioned about the offense kind of clicking and kind of finding a bit of a groove last week. No doubt having KJ back, that was kind of just not a difference maker, but kind of settled everybody in, it felt like. Speak to that a little bit.
Yeah, well, I think first of all it did, having a couple of weeks without him, it's no secret. KJ was a big part of us. Even last year with Cam Shanks, KJ stepped up as a sophomore and did really well. So this year the expectations were high for him to come out and play well because we knew he was capable of doing so. And so, him being out for a few weeks because of an injury that he had, it allowed us to actually grow some of those other guys up, and that's what we did. We grew those other guys up. They stepped in and played really well. And so getting him back, now, we have a little arsenal that we can go to, and now Gavin has options. He kind of understands the receivers and when they're going to be open and things like that, how they run their routes. So the continuity that it built without KJ, him coming back only adds to that.
Yeah. Did that change game plan at all when you lose a player? I mean, maybe a little bit. I mean,
it does, because every player has a distinct skill set, and even other guys other than KJ, had we lost another guy, Jack Studdard had been a part of our receiving core, and we got him back briefly for the season earlier, and then we knew, he's out. So, but even having him, we were able to do different things with him. So, everybody has a unique skill set that we're able to do different things with. And it benefits us in how we can approach an opponent.
Certainly. And we talk about this every week, but usually leading up to the next game, reflect back. I mean, the fans at last week's game, there was a bunch of them, and they were ready to go. I mean, does that make a difference?
It does, man. Walking in there, it was a packed house last week. Yeah. It was a packed house, and probably the last time you'll see a packed house in that setting. Because, we're getting the renovations on the other side.
I was going to bring that up. Yeah. Tomorrow night will look a little different. We'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah, so, but just to end that part of the culture and that part of the history in that stadium, man, it was nothing like it. It was a lot of people there cheering for their favorite team, and I gotta admit, Stanhope, they traveled well. I gotta give them credit there. They traveled well. They packed the stands, and those fans, they were definitely there for their team and there to support their team. So
right. Well, and you kind of mentioned, let's talk about that just a little bit further. The stadium changing up, and next year it's going to be something else down there. The homes flipping sides and a lot more space, new much needed locker rooms out there. Yeah. I don't even much needed. It's probably still an understatement.
Yeah. Right.
But as far as the remainder of the year, I mean, demolition's already started on the current visitor side, which used to be the home side back in the day. Yeah. What's it going to look like tomorrow night?
Well, I think they're in the process of getting things done to be able to just totally demolish or whatever that visitor side, the new home side. So I know they've been handling the electricity over there and all that kind of stuff. They've been getting that situated, so they can go and move forward with the project.
I was reading up a little bit. They've got a plan for where to put. There's going to be visitors seating on the home side a little bit, and they're going to have portable bleachers, I think, for them as well.
Yeah.
And as far as tomorrow night goes, Enterprise can stay home and just let's fill it up with travel seats. How about that?
Yeah, however we got to fill them, we'll fill them. And if I had saw them in cardinal and white, we're perfectly fine with that as well.
That'd be okay.
Yeah, but they will be seating in the end zones on both sides, and there will be a small portion on the home side for the visitors right there in that corner, and it'll be sectioned off well.
Right.
So we'll be able to have fans of other places there.
Well, it's just going to be cozy, It'll just be room for everything. It should be beautiful weather, but for football anyway. It'll be a little bit colder. I think they said highs in the 70s, lows in the 40s over the weekend. Yeah. So that screams football weather to me.
Football weather all day.
Does it change things for you, for the team, when it starts to get a little cooler? I mean, obviously the game doesn't stop for heat timeouts.
No, we won't have the heat timeouts, but I always have to remind our guys, hey, make sure you hydrate because that weather gets cool, and sometimes you feel like you don't have to drink as much water and fluids or whatever, but you have to.
You still need it
for a quarter.
It's vital. That's exactly right. Cool. All right, well, fans, thank you for tuning in tonight to the Coach J.B. Wallace Show. Those of you who are listening to us on Dixie Country 100.1, we're so glad you chose to tune in. We're at Rock's Famous Barbecue. If you're driving around, we'd love for you to stop. We've got a bunch of Lions here and Lions fans with us, so come on by. Also, those of you watching us on Facebook, thanks for tuning in. You're listening to the J.B. Wallace Show. We'll be right back after this break.
Durbin Auto Parts on South Memorial Drive is proud to be a supporter of Prattville Lions Athletics. As your locally owned CarQuest dealer, the Durbin family assures you that they'll get the right parts the first time. They also carry the full line of steel power equipment and die-hard batteries. When you do business with Durbin Auto Parts, your money stays in Prattville so they can support the local community and great programs like Prattville Lions Athletics. Durbin Auto Parts, 948 South Memorial Drive, Prattville.
Think local. Think of all the skill and talent found right here in our community. Hands that build, hands that feed, teach, protect, and hands that heal. Guardian Credit Union reaches out to people just like you. Handling loans for new cars, opening doors to new homes, saying yes to fun and adventure. When you need a strong, steady financial hand, think local. Think Guardian.
You know why I purchased my vehicles from Larry Puckett Chevrolet?
Hi, I'm Greg Pouncey. I've been with Larry Puckett Chevrolet for 20 years.
I'm Kurt Mills. I'm the General Sales Manager, and I've been with Larry Puckett Chevrolet for 34 years.
I'm Lewis Mills. I'm the Service Manager at Larry Puckett Chevrolet, and I've been here for 35 years.
Well, that's why. Unlike other dealers, I know they will be there when I need them. At Larry Puckett Chevrolet, they let the customers do the talking.
It's a long pass down the amazing aisles at Prattville Pickers. It's a great catch on thousands of incredible treasures. It's the biggest lineup of rustic wood furniture at the Depot Furniture Gallery. It's the national champion of antiques, collectibles, treasures. The Depot Furniture Gallery at Prattville Pickers. A winning combination for home, lifestyle, and recreation. Don't let the game clock run out before you make a winning catch at Prattville Pickers. Highway 82 West. Shop PrattvillePickers.com and Facebook.
Well, welcome back, Prattville Lions Nation. We're so glad you've chosen to tune in to the Coach J.B. Wallace Show. I'm your host, Chris Britton. We're broadcasting live tonight, Thursday evening, from Rock's Famous Barbecue right here on Memorial Drive, just a stone's throw away from Main Street. So if you're out, we'd love to have you come join. We got a bunch of Prattville Lions football players here, a bunch of fans. And some really good barbecue, too. So we'd love to have you come check us out. Coach Smooth coming in now, too. So, I mean, the party just got even better. Well, Coach, we've got one of your assistant coaches, part of your staff with us. Why don't you tell us a little bit about this guy that's joined us?
Well, Coach Myers is our offensive line coach. This is his second season, being on our staff. He's also our run game coordinator as well. And he coaches with a lot of passion, brings a lot of experience to the staff, and if we have an issue up front or whatever, I ain't never doubted one time that this young man, he's probably an old man, but this man has an answer to get us through. So definitely glad that he's on board with us to be a part of the staff.
Yeah, Coach Myers now, and you gave us a great interview last year, but we're going to recap a little bit of that. In case somebody hadn't met you, doesn't know about you, give us some of your coaching history, where you came from.
So this is my second stop. First stop was West Alabama.
Right.
Played there in 2012 and 13, won 2 conference championships there, and then football was done with me. I was 21. I was done playing 4 years out of high school and had the itch to be around it. So I started coaching, was a student assistant, and then graduate assistant, restricted earnings, full-time O-line coach there, and then wanted to get my wife and them back home a little bit closer, and so we made the move to come back down here.
Awesome. Now, I don't think your accent is Prattvillian.
No.
Where are you from?
Washington State. Washington State. Yep, there to California, and then back home for a little bit, and then out to Livingston in July of 2012.
How about that? And been an Alabamian pretty much ever since?
Ever since.
There you go.
Ever since.
It's because you like the climate here better, right?
The pace of life, the climate, the food, all of that.
Yeah. A little bit hotter, I would imagine.
The humidity,
it's different.
Y'all can have that.
I know that's right.
Y'all can keep that.
I know that's right. So last year you were the O-line coach and then added the role of run game coordinator.
Yes,
talk a little bit about that and where that's headed.
That's just, a step in the right direction. It shows that Coach believes in me and, the the knowledge and what I can bring to this team, and just being a guy that played offensive line, and I'm coached tight ends a little bit, so a little bit of the route scheme stuff, but not a whole lot. And that's just where my forte is in the box and understanding, creating angles, creating numbers, and finding ways for these guys to run the rock and be successful.
That's awesome. And I love what you're doing with the guys, because if you go to a game, and not every team, but you look at some of the other teams we play, and I swear it looks like, it's 6'2", 6'4", all the way across their O-line,
right.
270, 280.
Yeah.
That guy doesn't exist on you don't have many of those guys.
Correct.
And you're not a huge guy yourself. So I love every year, every week, that O-line gets a little better, little better, little better. How do you approach that?
Well, we talk about playing with leverage and playing with an edge.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We know who we are, and we know what limitations we have, and we're going to find a way to take what we do well and make it even better. And so these guys, right, we naturally have leverage.
Right.
Okay, so if we can get our hips up underneath theirs and make sure that our hand fits correct, then we're going to be good.
Awesome.
And that's the only reason that I was able to play college football, was I was a technician.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Ain't a big dude. I was a little bit heavier then, but I wasn't any taller. So just, honing in on making sure your footwork's right. Where are your eyes? Where's the communication going on in protection? Making sure that the guy next to you knows what you're doing, even if sometimes you don't even have to tell him. And that's where we want to get to with these guys, is I can look at you and say, yeah,
you just know.
We got it.
That's cool. And I've heard it said, and Coach, you can speak to this too, that some of the smartest guys on the field are those O-linemen, because they got to know where everybody is, where they're going, and how to help them get there, kind of thing. Speak to that a little bit.
It's just them understanding the picture of the box in the front that they have, and then especially those guys on the edges, those tackles, because they're in 2 points and they can see a lot more of, what's the safety structure look like? Are we getting safety rotation or inversion? Well, that's where that pressure is probably going to come from. So now we got to be alert to that. And the receivers also help us out in that. You know what I mean? They got an apex player, and that safety starts walking out over the hash, and that guy is starting to key into that tackle. Hey, alert, alert. Now we can get the protection set that way and handle that.
That's awesome, and adapt to it. Coach, what do you think?
Well, I'm going to tell you, out of everything he talked about, the one thing that he said that really caught my attention, and he coaches that way, he mentioned the term find a way.
Yeah.
And that's exactly how he's coaching. Like if we want to run the ball and they're in this front, he finds a way. He say, hey, look, you can get in this formation. So it goes further than just blocking scheme for him when I'm sitting in the office and I'm listening, but it's getting this formation to get them to do this so we can find a way to do what we want to do. And so he's always finding a way to make it happen and give our offensive line the best opportunity to be successful.
Yeah. And I don't even know how to ask the question, the ratio. I mean, you know what you want to do as an O-line, but you got to also look at your opposition and then figure out what works best against them.
Correct.
What's that give and take look like of, hey, we're going to impose our will and do this, but because they look like this, we're going to do a little, what does that look like?
That's just finding the numbers and the angles and the little tweaks and adjustments of, you run something one way and you might do it a little bit differently, but it might be a little bit of window dressing, just making guys, especially on the second level, right? Getting a little bit of eye violation.
Yeah.
It's just playing the game within the game.
I gotcha.
That also takes place during the game. You know what I mean? Because we go in with a plan, so do they.
Right.
If their plan's a little bit better to start off with, then we got to find a way
to
adjust. And we do that, and we'll continue to do that.
Now, O-linemen, obviously they block, and this is an honest question. Do you work, as far as wide receivers blocking, is that something you also have a little bit of a role in, or is that with the wide receiver coaches?
Yeah, that's the coaches are doing that part. You know what I mean? When we're sitting in the film and if we're running the ball and there's not, an RPO or something tagged on the front side, well, if I see that, he's got to go dig out, that's the touchdown block.
Right.
You know what I mean? You're going to dig out the seventh hat that's apex, or, you're climbing to the safety on a bubble screen or something like that, and you're making that extra block that springs that running back or springs your receiver on the outside. So I just mentioned that to the coach and say, hey, we should probably make sure that they understand where they're trying to go.
Gotcha.
and what they're trying to do. But hands-on, no, I let those guys. Those guys know what they're doing. They can handle
best wide receiver blocker on the team. Who is it? Or too many to name one?
I mean, they get after it now. We have to do a more consistent job.
Yeah.
but they do a good job.
I got you.
They do a
good deal. Well,
Gotta
Coach,
be a
I'm going to give
little
you
bit
one more
more
shot
consistent.
about Coach Myers before we let him go.
Yeah, just like you talked about, you can tell that he's a technician in everything that he's does and how he coaches. But that's one of the things that we harp on the guys, details, and be detailed about what you're doing. And just like he mentioned, we don't have the 6'5", 300-pound guys.
Right.
So guess what? You got to be a technician with what you have to give yourself a chance. And just to see that the success we've had running the ball over the year, the course of this season, it shows you that these guys are really taking what he's coaching, and we're able to, get that push.
Awesome. Well, Coach, thanks for stopping by.
Absolutely,
Great
I
job.
appreciate
you,
it.
buddy.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, well, Coach Wallace. Yeah. And we'll come back to this in a later segment to the Player of the Week award. But there's some other awards. We got a little time to go through some of those, Stacy.
We got about 2 minutes.
All right. So let's start talking about some of the awards. Your players. Money team, those awards from last week.
Well, we'll start off with our Defensive Player of the Week. It's Sam Cook, junior linebacker for us, 11 tackles, had a tremendous night. Offensive Player of the Week was KJ Blue. We talked about his stats earlier.
It seemed like every time he touched the ball for a minute, it was 6.
Yeah, you're right. He was hot for a while. Money team offense. This was another receiver that has made some tremendous plays for us this year, and also has played well in the games on Friday as well. But it was Tristan Blackman. He's a sophomore receiver.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of tools, and he's really coming on doing some good stuff.
That's awesome.
Defensive money team player of the week is DJ Walton, who was another guy who really started climbing the ladder early in the season and was in the rotation, and then he had an injury to a wrist, and so now he's kind of recuperating, but he's going to be one that he's playing special teams. He's making plays on special teams, and he's going to be one that's going to touch the field more for us as the season goes on.
That's awesome.
So I'm looking forward to him.
Yeah.
Our student of the week was another freshman, and he doesn't know it yet, but he'll know now, is Darryl Washington.
Okay.
I believe his mom was fan of the week.
Yeah.
So he's the student of the week this week. And then, of course, one that we don't give out, but they gave out today, the WSFA Fever Athlete of the Week, and that was KJ Blue.
And I think he got some recognition from Shut Sports too, didn't he?
Yeah.
So it was like a staff pick or something like that.
Yeah, 7A, Alabama 7A football.
There you go. So another one.
Yeah, so he had a stellar week there as well.
Yeah, no doubt. And you mentioned the fan of the week. I think in one of the breaks we got a fan of the week we're recognizing tonight, super fan Deason Peavy.
There you go.
Who has made give her a round of applause. But she welcome to come up and sit for a second and wave at the camera if she wants. You want to? Come on. All right, she'll come on up here. So anyway, I was so sad. She made a bracelet for both of us at the beginning of the season. Come on up here, Deason, wave at everybody watching us on the show. This is super fan Deason Peavy. She's always at the games cheering her hardest. She's got her Lion shirts on, buttons. A lot of people don't know this, but Justin Bieber actually wrote the song Boyfriend about her. So no, we've had that running joke for a long time. But anyway, well, fans, thanks so much for tuning in tonight to the Coach J.B. Wallace Show. Those of you listening on Dixie Country 100.1 and those watching us on Facebook, thanks for tuning in. You're listening to the J.B. Wallace Show. We'll be right back after this break.
Do your ribs rock? Like slap your daddy rock? Rock's Famous Barbecue across from Baptist Hospital on South Memorial Drive in Prattville has the most amazing barbecue in the region. And the service is almost as good as the amazing food. Check out the menu online at rocksfamousbbq.com. Phone 224-8903 for takeout or dine in. Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. If your barbecue pork and chicken ain't rocking, you ain't been to Rock's Famous Barbecue, South Memorial Drive, Prattville.
For well over 50 years, the River region has depended on Arrow Pest Control, which has grown to be one of the largest and most respected pest control science leaders in the area. Pest control is a science that eliminates pests that invade and potentially damage your property. They use only the top-rated pest control products, including the Centricon Termite Colony Elimination System. Arrow Pest Control was built on customer service and satisfaction, and that's still #1 today. Call us, 334-365-4610, and find out about mosquito control. Arrow, your best shot for pest control.
farm-raised catfish?
We've been selling U.S. farm-raised catfish since 1978.
They do have a choice for a good, wholesome, safe fish. We know it's a good product.
Ask for U.S. farm-raised catfish, only the finest, freshest, tastiest. You can taste the difference.
From our farm to your table, your family deserves the best. U.S. farm-raised catfish.
Welcome back, Lions Nation. You're tuned in to the Coach J.B. Wallace Show. I'm your host, Chris Britton. Thanks for tuning in tonight. We're so glad to have you as part of the show. Well, Coach, we talked about awards a little bit in the last segment, and then we've got the most valuable or the player of the game from last week. I want you to talk about that award a little bit and about the young man who was selected as the recipient of that award this week.
Gotcha. Well, four passing touchdowns. He threw 4 touchdowns on Friday. Over 300 yards of passing, man, just a tremendous night. He came in and stepped up, threw the ball well, made some plays. A couple times it was cloudy. He used his legs, to find some opportunities to get the ball out there. But it goes to Gavin Rigdon as our player of the week, our Pepsi Buffalo Rock player of the week.
Thank you. So walk us through that a little bit. I mean, that's the Stanhope Elmore game. You've been around Prattville all your life. That's kind of a big rivalry. Your brother played there. I mean, talk about that game and that rivalry and what that maybe means to you a little bit.
Well, I knew it was big for the whole team and how much we wanted it. And it all started with the O-line.
Yeah.
Without them, we wouldn't have been anywhere.
That's right.
So I want to give a shout out to all of them.
Love for the O-line. Yeah.
And then the receivers, they came. I knew they wanted it from the first practice that week, and we all practiced hard. And, it's just nice to know that I have guys out there that if I don't make the perfect throw, that they'll still go up and get it.
Go make plays. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's got to give you extra confidence early on the game when you throw one out there to KJ and he's like, "Yeah, I'll take it on to the house for you," and he's gone. How much pressure does that take off when something like that connects?
After that play, I knew that we were settled in and we get it done.
Yeah. How is that? I mean, I've never been a high school quarterback. I've never been any kind of quarterback except for in my backyard. There's got to be a lot of pressure on that position because you got to know where everybody's going. I mean, how's that work?
It can be tough, but you just got to study a lot. And that's
a great point that you bring up, studying. I mean, you've been playing quarterback for how long now?
7th grade.
A few years. Right? So you got some experience. So how much study goes into it? And if your teachers are watching, y'all don't pay attention. How much studying into football goes on for you each week? I'm sure you're watching huddle and stuff like that a little bit.
Yes, sir. Just checking out what they're gonna run on defense and all that. Me and Coach Thomas will sit in there and just rewatch it and just go over all the practices and everything just to clean up stuff.
Yeah. Well, Coach, I watch Game Day and shows like that, like everybody else, and they're talking. They'll show you these. I don't see it, but when they show the replay, they're like, "This guy's stepping up. It means they're about to do this, and that's why they did that." I mean, does it work on the high school level that way too?
Yeah, it does. It does. You always have to have a reaction for whatever they do. So if they do something, you have to do something. And then I'm gonna speak up for Gavin. He's kind of modest about it, but I'm gonna tell you, in the off season. We start practice at a certain time every morning, man, on several days in the off season. He's already there with Coach Thomas, and he's already putting in work before the team gets there. So, and that's either on film, that's either on the field, working mechanics and things like that. Man, this guy's a workaholic. Yeah. And so that's why for him to be able to get this award, man, I'm excited for him. Yeah. But I know the sky's the limit because he's getting it done every week, and he's improving every week, and he's a winner. And he's doing what winners do, so I'm very excited about it.
That's awesome. Now, and because I've known you a long time, I know your family, there's a whole lot of family support there. What does that mean to you?
It means a lot to know that they're backing me up, and they push me just as hard as these coaches do. My mom, she pushes me every day.
It's funny, your dad's so quiet and calm, and your mom's like, the opposite of that. And I'm sure he's watching. Your granddad, Ronnie Robertson's a buddy of mine, so what's up, Mr. Ronnie, how you doing? And probably Uncle Rick, too, but those are two of my real good buddies. But anyway, so we talked about football, and that's great. I think I know the answer to this question, but I always ask this question. You were ready for this question, I'm sure. But Facebook Land wants to know, is Gavin available, or?
I'm not.
And I think she has something to say about that, right? Okay. All right, we're just making that clear. Good job. You answered that one right. All right, we're going to pause real quick for a station identification. We'll be right back. Station will be right back.
Prattville and Puckett, a winning combination.
All right, we're back. Now, he was trying to get up out of the seat, Coach. But
Yeah, he was.
No, that was the hardest question. The rest of them were easy. So I love to ask, so, pregame or on the bus on a long road trip, what are you listening to?
I don't really listen to a lot of music, but when I do, probably Lil Baby.
Okay. All right. So kind of rap, hip hop, whatever. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Who's your favorite team to play against? The answer may be I don't have one.
I don't really have one.
I gave him a way out. That was my fault.
Yeah.
I should have done that. Favorite college football team?
Alabama.
The answer right, guys? Anybody? Roll Tide. Roll Tide. Favorite Alabama player?
I don't know this year.
Oh, ever?
Probably Bryce Young.
Okay. Yeah, he was a good one. I'm telling you what. Well, Coach, one last shot. Talk about Gavin a little bit.
Man, leader. That's the thing that sticks out to me the most. I've never seen him just show up at practice and just not just into what he's doing. He's going to show up every day with the right attitude, and he's going to lead by an example. He's going to be first in line to get it done. And like I told you, in the off season, he's there before we get there, and he's working. He's, doing the little things that it takes, and that's the qualities that you have for, a guy that you want leading your team, leading your offense. He's that guy. So I know, his best days are ahead of him. And I'm excited to see what he's going to do tomorrow.
Awesome. Congratulations, buddy. Much deserved. Proud of you, man. Good job.
Thank you.
All right. So we're gonna shift gears and we're gonna talk about another sport in just a minute. Mm-hmm. So while we're getting the next fellow who's gonna come in, and any of you guys that want to come up here and stand with them, you can. Some of you basketball players, but it's and I've heard this said, I've heard him say it, I've heard you say it. It's not just Prattville, one sport. It's a Prattville, high school family athletic program.
That's right.
It was. I mean, I don't know. I guess you were announced as the football coach. What's it been, 3 years ago now?
Yeah, somewhere around there.
And there was a softball game like 2 days later, and I'm up in the box, and I look down, and there sits the new high school, Prattville High School football coach, J.B. Wallace, supporting the softball program.
Right,
that's just cool. What does it mean to you when all the teams get together?
Well, we're all in it together. I know that the time that we spend, all the coaches spend just as much time as I do, so I'm no different. So we, like to support each other. We're coaching the same kids most of the time, dual sport athletes. They're going to play for Coach Fisher or whatever. And even, the female sports that we have. Those girls are some of the biggest fans that we have at football and basketball. And so it's always good to give back to them and support them because they support us. So we're all in it together.
Hey, guys, real quick, a good sign is I can barely get them in the camera.
So a lot of height.
We got some height around here.
That's a good problem to have. So with that, welcome Coach Jason Fisher. How you doing, buddy?
Doing good. How are you?
Doing good, man. Thank you for joining us tonight. Bring some of your guys. Man, I understand basketball. Sometimes football doesn't make sense because it doesn't bounce right. Well, I get basketball. I'm a Kentucky boy, right?
That's right.
But talk about, this season 2 getting ready to begin. We've been prepping for it through the summer. Where's the program at?
We're really in shape this year.
Good.
We run pretty much every day.
Yeah.
We say we may not be the most talented team in the state, but we will be the most in shape team in the state.
There you go. That's awesome.
But we have a lot of returners. We have 3 returning players from our varsity team last year that I brought with me tonight. Yeah. And that's going to be speaking volumes because of their leadership.
Sure. When you graduate, speaking of leadership, you graduated what, like 10 seniors, 12 seniors? It was a ridiculous number last year.
12 seniors.
12 seniors. And glad to see them gone, especially the Britton kid, right?
Yeah.
That's mine. I'm kidding. Miller, if you're watching this, I'm just teasing. Dad loves you, man. So got some leadership back, got some young guys. What kind of product are you anticipating seeing on what type of game do you hope to be able to play, put out on the court?
Well, the coaches and I kind of went back to the drawing board this summer, and we decided instead of letting the fight come to us, we're going to start taking the fight to everybody else. So when you come watch Prattville basketball this year, you're going to see a lot of pressing. You'll see them pressing from the tip till the end of the game, and we won't let up.
Yeah.
And so we're going to punch them in the mouth quick and keep it going.
A well-known college coach, Nolan Richardson, back in the day, I think he called it 40 minutes of hell, of what Arkansas would put out there. something like that, I
That
guess?
is exactly what we're going for.
I hear you. And I guess you got the bodies to do it because it sounds like you're going to rotate a lot of guys through. So
We've got right around 13, 14 varsity players, and they're probably all going to play at some point.
Yeah.
Maybe it might be 2 or 3 minutes, but they're going to give me all you got.
Awesome. Why don't you run down your coaching history? Coach Myers did that for us a little bit. Where all have you been? What all have you done? Take us through some stops along the way.
Well, my first stop was at Millbrook Middle in Stanhope Elmore. It was kind of weird being a Prattville guy.
Over there, yeah.
Over there.
Supposed to be the enemy.
Yeah. Then I left.
There's good people over there.
There's some good people over there. Then I went to Edgewood Academy and took over their girls program and fell short my first year as the head coach over there. Got put out in the first round of the playoffs. And I said, that's not ever going to happen again. And so the next year, we ended up winning a state title there. That was their first one in school history. And then I came home to Prattville.
Yeah.
And this is where I want to stay and retire.
I thought it spoke volumes last year. It's really cool. I know you remember this. At the very first, the home opener last year, I looked up in the kind of top right-hand portion of the stands. There's just stands on one side at Prattville's gymnasium, and there's a whole bunch of green over there. Who was that?
That was pretty much my whole former team. Yeah. And their coach, who's a really good friend of mine, he's now the headmaster at Hooper.
I didn't know that.
And so he brought them over to watch my first game back at Prattville, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah, and it speaks to the impact that you made there on those young folks and what you're doing and continuing to do and will be doing with the guys here in Prattville.
Correct.
Yeah, awesome. So what do you need? How can the community get involved with the program? I mean, come to games, obviously, but are there any fundraisers coming up? Is there anything out there?
We actually have one fundraiser going right now. If you see a basketball player, you can contact me. We're doing a Pepsi fundraiser because we're playing in one of the state's biggest Christmas tournaments at Scottsboro High School.
Okay.
There's teams from Tennessee, Georgia, and so it's a pretty big time tournament, and we were invited to that. So we're trying to fundraise because we're going to take all 3 basketball teams, and which I've never seen it done that way. Normally it's just varsity, but it's freshman, JV, and varsity all playing together.
Yeah.
So that's one good thing. Other than a new gym, we'd love to have that, but I mean hopefully that's coming down the pipeline one day.
Sponsorship opportunities, I'm sure, if any business folks want to get involved.
If you have a business and you want to put your name out there, we have a video board. I have a really good DJ this year.
Jam Up announcer slash DJ.
Yeah, I heard he's really good. And he'll put plugs in during the basketball games.
Only one insurance company, though.
That's right.
I'm kidding. Chris Britton Alpha Insurance. So anyway, fans come out this year. I mean, obviously there's games that everybody comes to. Is PCA on the schedule this year?
They are in our Otago County tournament, but we don't play PCA.
So, like when Stanhope comes over, it's gonna be packed. A lot of people there. Some of the Montgomery schools, when they come over, big crowd.
This year we have Thompson, Pelham, and Auburn on the schedule.
Oh wow! Are they area games? Or
they're not. Okay. They're not area games. I'm one of those. I'm kind of like Coach Wallace. I don't shy away from competition.
Sure.
And if we're going to be better, we got to play better competition.
Yeah.
I mean, we could have played 1A and 2A schools that I know that we can beat, but that's not going to make my guys better.
Yeah.
So we put them on the schedule.
Awesome, fun. Anything from these guys, or are they just here to look good? I mean, Ty, how many points a game we gonna score this year? 30 points a game. That was bold. I just want to see 5 assists. All right? No, 5 passes. Okay, I'm messing with Ty. Jess, what about it, man? How many rebounds a game?
Enough to win.
Enough to win. That's a great answer. That's a team answer. Senior leaders. I want to look. I'm gonna confess. There was a pep rally last week, and they played musical chairs, and I was in charge of the music. And I wanted a senior to win musical chairs, so I tried to stop the music when he was right over top of a chair, and a girl beat him to it.
Well, you know those girls at Prattville are tough.
Exactly. That's right. And we didn't even touch that. We're going to have to move on. But you've been helping with flag football too, or not helping, co-coaching.
I'm the defensive coordinator for the flag football team, and they are it's a jam up sport. I love JB, but I don't think I'd ever go back to coaching regular football after I played that, coached that. Sorry, Coach Wallace.
We may have to continue. Let's go to a break, and then maybe on the other side of this, we can talk about flag football a little bit. So anyway, fans, thanks for tuning in tonight. You're listening to the Coach JB Wallace Show. We'll be right back after this break.
Durbin Auto Parts on South Memorial Drive is proud to be a supporter of Prattville Lions Athletics. As your locally owned CarQuest dealer, the Durbin family assures you that they'll get the right parts the first time. They also carry the full line of steel power equipment and die-hard batteries. When you do business with Durbin Auto Parts, your money stays in Prattville so they can support the local community and great programs like Prattville Lions Athletics. Durbin Auto Parts, 948 South Memorial Drive, Prattville.
Think local. Think of all the skill and talent found right here in our community. Hands that build, hands that feed, teach, protect, and hands that heal. Guardian Credit Union reaches out to people just like you. Handling loans for new cars, opening doors to new homes, saying yes to fun and adventure. When you need a strong, steady financial hand, think local. Think Guardian.
You know why I purchased my vehicles from Larry Puckett Chevrolet?
Hi, I'm Greg Pouncey. I've been with Larry Puckett Chevrolet for 20 years.
I'm Kurt Mills. I'm the General Sales Manager, and I've been with Larry Puckett Chevrolet for 34 years.
I'm Lewis Mills. I'm the Service Manager at Larry Puckett Chevrolet, and I've been here for 35 years.
Well, that's why. Unlike other dealers, I know they will be there when I need them. At Larry Puckett Chevrolet, they let the customers do the talking.
It's a long pass down the amazing aisles at Prattville Pickers. It's a great catch, showing thousands of incredible treasures. It's the biggest lineup of rustic wood furniture at the Depot Furniture Gallery. It's the national champion of antiques, collectibles, treasures. The Depot Furniture Gallery at Prattville Pickers. A winning combination for home, lifestyle, and recreation. Don't let the game clock run out before you make a winning catch at Prattville Pickers. Highway 82 West. Shop PrattvillePickers.com and Facebook.
My title.
Well, welcome back, Travel Lions Nation. You're listening to the Coach, or watching the Coach J.B. Wallace Show. I'm your host, Chris Britton. We're so glad you've chosen to tune in. Those of you listening to us on Dixie Country 100.1, and those of you watching us on Facebook Live as well. So, Coach Wallace, we're still joined by Coach Jason Fisher as well.
Yes, sir.
And at the tail end of the last segment, we kind of entered into talking about flag football. Now, being the men's football coach at Prattville, what are your thoughts? How excited are you about having a women's flag football program that's began this year?
Well, I'll tell you this, over a year ago, when I would go to the junior high and visit and look after those kids and try to, find our guys to play football, I had several girls asking about a flag football team or a girls football team wanting to play. So I'm going to tell you, I think that is going to grow in Prattville. I think it's going to be something that coach is going to have a hard decision of picking the team, because there's a lot of talented girls that would tell me a year ago, hey, I want to play flag football. Can we get a team? Can we get a team? And now they got a teame. And those girls, I've gone to a couple of the games, and, man, it is exciting.
Yeah.
It's exciting. They play hard, and they get after it.
That's awesome. I've been trying to make it to a game. Scheduling, I haven't been able to make it, but there's a few more left. So how's the season going for the ladies?
Well, we're 8-4. We first game of the year kind of went to Opelika and beat them in overtime, and we thought that was a big statement win. And then we blew out a couple of teams that, you see flag football, you're thinking, okay, they're going to be, because they got a lot of track stars, and we shut them out. Defense did their job.
Who's the defensive coordinator?
That would be
okay. Yeah.
So defense did their job, and offense, did what they were supposed to do. And then we ran into Auburn, who was the defending state champion last week, and we beat them.
How about that?
And then got beat by Catholic, who's pretty good. I mean, I don't knock their program. They've been playing for 3 years.
Yeah.
A lot of these programs have been playing for 3 years. And then you got Central Phoenix City, who beat us last week, or actually Tuesday. But we came out flat, and it was just one of those things. You're like, hey, you just tip your cap. They made better plays than we did.
Yeah.
And we got back to the drawing board because we got an area game on Tuesday against Park Crossing at Park Crossing.
There you go. So help the listener or the viewer that's watching us tonight understand. I mean, we understand we're in Alabama. We understand men's football. Everybody's in pads. You got 11 on 11. You got 5 on the line plus whatever. And then, a little different for you guys. Walk us through that a little bit.
Well, it's like 7-on-7, which Coach Wallace would take his guys to during the summer. No contact. Really, it's not supposed to be any contact, but there it is. Chloe Wallace is one that will trouble somebody.
She ain't afraid, you know her.
Yeah, I know a little bit about it.
But you've got 3 flags. It's pretty much you just pull their flag in their way, pull it, no contact. There's really no contact. Like Coach Myers he would not be happy with the blocking schemes with flag football because you can't get any leverage. You just got to get in their way.
Right.
But talking about the Auburn team, when we first started, I called the Auburn coach. She's a former basketball coach. And she told me, relate defense to everything you do in basketball. So that was like right in my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
And so a lot of the stuff and schemes that we run there is stuff that I've ran in basketball. So it makes it a lot easier for me to tell the girls what they're doing.
Sure. So on the offensive side of the ball, and I'm sure it's from team to team, it varies, but more passing, more running, is it? You never know.
It goes team to team, but I will tell you, Central Phoenix City runs a triple option that I wouldn't even see boys football run. They run it to perfection.
How about that?
And it's really exciting to watch. And then the first game, we were kind of caught off guard. Second game, we kind of knew what they were going to do and kind of put in place some keys of what they were going to do and kind of take that away.
Yeah, anytime people do that misdirection, who's got the ball, where's the hand, that causes a problem.
Yes.
So how many more weeks are left in the season?
We've got probably 4 more weeks, and then the playoffs start. And they do playoffs kind of like they do the softball regionals. We'll go to a region tournament, and if we win that, we'll travel back to Tuscaloosa to play in the quarterfinals. And if we win that, hopefully we'll be able to host a semifinal game against either Auburn or Central Phoenix City here at Stanley Stadium.
There you go.
That's what we'd love to do.
Awesome. Who is the region or the area?
In our area, it's us, Park Crossing, and Lanier.
Okay.
Stanhope had a team, but they kind of backed out. They didn't have anybody to coach it this year. So next year, I think they'll have somebody. Since it is taking off, more schools are starting to see it. And one cool thing about it is they've got one guy that travels and watches flag football, and they ranked us number 3 in the state this week.
How about that?
So
quite an honor. And for context purposes, how long has that been I guess I would say sanctioned AHSAA sport in Alabama?
It's not sanctioned yet.
My bad.
Well, what they're doing is they play a state championship game right before the 7A state championship game. Next year it will be sanctioned, so instead of winning a little plaque like they've done in the last 3 years, they'll actually get a blue map.
Okay.
Just like
everybody
else.
wants.
Yeah.
And this is year 2 of the sport having the championship, or has that been?
This is the second year.
Okay.
Auburn won it last year, and the year before that, Vestavia but they've had different winners. So the championship game isn't the normal, like when you think of football, you know, Prattville's been in it a lot, or Central's been in it a lot. They're rotating it around, so it's good competition.
Prattville could win it this year.
Yeah.
Well, I'm talking about.
I'd like to have both Prattville. I'd like to have both Prattville teams.
Now there's some kind of during the break there was something that came up about a challenge maybe that's between the head flag football coach, Coach Pittman.
Well, I'm gonna say this.
Yes.
I'm gonna speak my part on that.
Okay. Please elaborate.
I've kind of been labeled due to this home run derby last year. I was invited to come participate to support softball.
We'll pause then. Okay, I didn't. So softball does a fundraiser. They do a hit-a-thon that's coming up in just a few weeks. In fact, are we broadcasting from there that night as a show? I'd heard you were going to get asked that. You may not have gotten asked that yet, so we'll see. Mm-hmm. So hit-a-thon, home run derby.
Yeah. All right. So Coach Fisher, he and I competed last year.
Yeah.
And it was fun.
Yeah.
I accidentally won. I mean, I lucked up and won. I mean, the guy's bat was on fire, and somehow I won. Right. All right, so now when that happened, now I have a bunch of bullseyes on my back.
Defending champion, that's the way it is.
Everybody, and so all the head coaches have been challenged to participate against me. And I kind of want somebody else to share the love a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, I've done what I can do.
Right.
You know, but there are some stipulations in which I will be involved.
Okay.
But we'll see if they want me there or not.
Okay. They got to raise some funds themselves?
Well, we won't discuss it. But,
okay.
But
well, now with that brought up, I think was that 3 weeks away? No, 2 weeks. 2 or 3 weeks from tonight. It'll be
it's
on
the
Thursday
26th on a Thursday at
okay.
6 o'clock.
There you go at the Prattville High School
like he's
softball field.
Try to be there.
I think so. Yeah, it really is a lot of fun. A lot of money gets raised, and it's like all the athletic programs need money. this is a great way to come support the softball program. So we'd invite you out in the community. These guys did a home run derby, but the ladies go out and put on an impressive display of power. There will be a lot of balls flying out of the stadium that night. But then there's also an open category for anybody in the community that, I mean, you can pay per pitch, and the winner gets a nice gift card and gets everybody's
He's been practicing, so it's really not fair for anybody else because he's been practicing.
I have not.
We'll find
not now. Last year I did practice.
You got to tune in later this month to find out. Well, listen, we're going to go to a break. Thanks for tuning into the JB Wallace Show. We'll be right back after this break.
Do your ribs rock? Like slap your daddy rock? Rock's Famous Barbecue across from Baptist Hospital on South Memorial Drive in Prattville has the most amazing barbecue in the region. And the service is almost as good as the amazing food. Check out the menu online at rocksfamousbbq.com. Phone 224-8903 for takeout or dine in. Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. If your barbecue pork and chicken ain't rocking, you ain't been to Rock's Famous Barbecue, South Memorial Drive, Prattville.
For well over 50 years, the River region has depended on Arrow Pest Control, which has grown to be one of the largest and most respected pest control science leaders in the area. Pest control is a science that eliminates pests that invade and potentially damage your property. They use only the top-rated pest control products, including the Centricon Termite Colony Elimination System. Arrow Pest Control was built on customer service and satisfaction, and that's still number one today. Call us, 334-365-4610, and find out about mosquito control. Arrow, your best shot for pest control.
Welcome back, Lions Nation. Trying to throw fried mushrooms to me over here. It's not a bad idea. But anyway, they were able to do that because we're broadcasting live from Rock's Famous Barbecue, where they do have fantastic fried mushrooms as well as cheese curds and barbecue. And the wings, Coach Wallace turned me onto the wings a few years ago.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm a fan now.
Yeah, the wings are terrific.
Almost not a secret. They just would surprise you. You come to a barbecue joint, you don't think of the wings being so good. But
oh, yeah, they're good.
Oh, my goodness.
I'm trying to get to where I can order something else other than wings, and I just can't do it.
Everything
else is probably good, too, but those wings, I know for
I'll probably leave here tonight with a plate of wings and a couple of sides. So, anyway. Well, Coach, speaking of food, last week we had a great fundraiser. We broadcasted live from it. The first, or the inaugural, I guess you would say, Prattville High School Chili Cook-Off. What are your thoughts looking back on that last week?
Man, it was great to see the community come out and support the program and to see people fellowship and have a good time. It was a lot of support, and I'm really appreciative of everybody coming in and participating in that, man. And we did really well even with the vendors that came in and participated with the Chili Cook-Off, and our quarterback club, our board, man, they worked hard to make sure everything was in place. Chris had talked about it. Chris Montgomery had talked about it a few times on the show, and he kind of helped spearhead it with Celeste, and man, it worked out perfect.
It was a quality event, and a lot of times I have no idea what the fundraising total was, what the dollar amount. Don't need to know. That's not what I'm saying. It's like you got to put on a quality event one time so that people say, I want to be a part of that next year and tell my friends, and then it doubles, or triples even.
Correct. Well, that's something that we plan on revisiting again. And, it's probably as soon as the season's over, we're probably going to start building it and revamping it and going back at it again, because it did so well, and it did well for the football team as far as support. But like I said, just to get people involved in the community and get people in the community together, that's what it's all about for me. Even the spring 5K that we do, just being able to get people that are runners or people that want to participate and things like that, to get people in the community involved. That's some of the most important things that I'm really after.
I think it's brilliant. Taking stuff that people already enjoy doing and just giving them an opportunity to support the team through that.
That's right. And that's what and we definitely have a need for the things we're getting. We got some new sleds that we're able to get for the football team that was much needed, and ultimately because of that chili cook-off, we're able to make some of that stuff happen.
Yeah.
So our team needed it, and I'm sure some of the boys kind of hated it for a moment earlier this week because they got to break them in.
New sleds.
But it worked
coaches.
out. Oh yeah, we got better. We definitely got better with
How about
that? Yes, sir.
That's awesome. That's good to know. So we shift our attention. Obviously, there's a ball game tomorrow night. Got a team coming into town, and we'll talk about this for a minute. We operate in a region that, I don't know what's the word, is loaded with really good teams.
Right.
And another one coming into town tomorrow night to Stanley Jensen Stadium.
Right.
Talk about the region a little bit.
Well, like we talk about our region all the time, about the talented schools and teams that are in our region, and it doesn't get any easier from here, but that's part of it. And it's the exciting part because we don't have to get our guys up to get ready to go play on Friday because they know they're going to be in a war on Friday every week. And I've been coaching on teams in which, we might have been pretty good or whatever, and then we were playing against a team that struggled a little bit and all that, and you kind of got to get them up for Friday, and you have a bad week of practice. Well, we don't get that luxury.
Right.
Every week is a war. Every week is a quality opponent. Anything can happen any week, so that's the exciting part about it. It's a little stressful too, but that's part of it.
Yeah, I think it was Donnie Burnett that said, no, it was Ric Flair that said, to be the best, you got to beat the best.
That's right.
Woo! All right, so I had to put a little Ric Flair in there.
There you go.
So no shortage. Great region. No shortage of talent tomorrow night. Enterprise, the Wildcats coming into town. Only thing I like about them is the name Wildcats. Past that, no love for them.
Yeah. And they're a well-known team. They got a lot of tradition. Enterprise has always been known to play real good football. Very talented athletes. So it makes for a great game.
Now, traditionally, they bring a very powerful ground attack, but they're kind of evolving, or is it still the same? Or
No, they're going to run the ball.
Okay.
They're going to run the ball, and now they have access to throw it as well. But you got to stop the run versus them. They're real good at it. Coach Blackman is very strategic in how he, gets to the things he want to get to in his run game. So they're definitely going to run the ball, and defensively, man, they're big and they swarm.
Yeah. How's that going to preparation during the week? I mean, I know you got your money team that they just run the ball more, or try to run their plays. What does that look like?
Well, it kind of looks like, you know the things that they do the most. This is what they're going to hang their hat on, and so you try to get your guys to imitate what they do best.
Sure.
And so they have to learn the little details it takes to be able to do that, and you just prepare for it.
Yeah.
So. Preparation is the key.
Right.
Like we talked about yesterday, you got to rep it till you can't get it wrong.
That's right. I love that. Yeah. You said that at the end of practice yesterday. Defensively, what do they like to do?
They'll blitz a little bit, but man, they line up and they play base football. More of an odd front team. Secondary is very solid, but I'm more impressed with their D-line and their linebackers. I'm more impressed with them.
Any standout players that from the Prattville fans could be watching? Hey, that kid's special.
Well, the quarterback is an athlete. He's got some Power 5 offers going on. He also plays safety for them. They have a running back. He's number 1. He runs the ball with a big kid. And as far as receivers go, all those receivers are pretty solid. Defensively, just look at their defensive line. I mean, their defensive line is very good.
Big boys.
Yeah, they're very good. They play aggressive ball. I think it makes for a great matchup with our guys because I think we play a similar style of ball up front.
Sure.
So I'm sure our offensive line is ready to go.
Sure. Real quickly, the fan support, the Lion Nation's always there, but what do you need out of them tomorrow night?
It's a big region game. We got a lot riding on it. Anything can happen at this point of the season. Definitely need that place to be electric so we can get that win tomorrow night.
And it's going to be a bit of an odd day, too, where school's only half the day. I mean, does that throw a kink in it, or
it does.
3 o'clock on?
It does. It throws a kink in it, but, it allows us to be able to get the guys in a little earlier and get an extra walkthrough, a little video to prepare for Friday.
Fantastic. Well, fans, we are so glad that you chose to join us for the Coach J.B. Wallace Show tonight. We'll hope that you tune back in next week with us. Up next, tune in or stick around for Hey Coach.
Money. See you guys tomorrow, God willing.
B. Wallace Show.